Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of All Things Lean with your host, Madhulika Rajrahan. In our last episode, we talked about natural user interfaces. In today's session, we will talk about external cognition in product design. As you design your user flows, minimizing the need for people to remember things as they navigate through your product or system will increase your users' desire to continue using your product. Many successful companies like Google, Amazon, and Airbnb design user flows that relieve users of memory load through external cognition. In today's session, we will learn how to take advantage of the external cognition when designing user flows so that you can be sure to minimize memory load on your users. When you design user-centered products, it is important to understand how key cognitive functions such as reasoning and memory affect the way your users interact with the user interface of your product. External cognition is the information processing that goes on between the internal cognition of the human mind and the perception and manipulation of its external representations. If you want to create truly user-centered products that support your users' mental capability, you should always figure out how best to support your users' memory load in the design of your user flows. Calendars, spreadsheets, and calculators, as well as checklists and annotations, are just several of the widely used tools and products that exhibit the benefit of utilizing external cognition. The book Interaction Design Beyond Human Computer Interaction by Rogers et al. In 2001 identifies the three main benefits associated with using external representation for our cognitive process, which any user experience designer should take into consideration. The first of them is externalizing to reduce memory load. Second, computational offloading. And third, annotations and cognitive tracing. Now let's look at all of them in detail. Over decades, there have been numerous strategies developed to reduce memory load by externalizing information. Examples of things that are better to be externalized include information that is difficult to remember, such as phone numbers and addresses of your personal contacts, birthdays, or appointments. The various bits of information are easier to handle when they are offloaded from your memory and externalized either in the form of paper, notes, or software. A mobile app for saving contact information helps the user offload their memory and instead focus on the task at hand like calling or texting a friend. Computational offloading refers to the use of some physical tool in combination with an external representation to allow the users to interact with the tool and work out a computational problem. A simple example can be seen whenever we use a pen and paper to perform calculations. The user is utilizing physical tools like pen and paper to externalize a mathematical problem that originally existed in their heads. A calculator can be used to calculate a variety of everyday expenses. Instead of having to work out the calculations in your head and keep track of each result along the way, a calculator helps us store the numerical results and let us focus on the task at hand, like calculating the cost of groceries for the week. Annotating involves the explanation or modification of external representations. For example, annotating documents can relieve the user of having to scan the whole document in the event of returning to the document in future. Allowing users to make annotations has the added benefit of permitting large amounts of information to be synthesized into small, personalized notes. Annotations shift the burden away from the users by allowing them to externalize their thoughts. Instead of them having to recall previous thoughts and figuring things out all over again every time, they revisit the same section of information. Google Docs is a great example of how users can utilize its comment and annotation features to support cognitive tracing. Cognitive tracing entails the manipulation of external representations to form new information. An example of cognitive tracing can be seen in various content sharing software containing user annotations marked with the date and time of the last annotation. This allows for the user to follow what happened or what's been manipulated when they work on something and go back to it later. An app designer annotates on the wireframes along the way. Annotating relieves the designer from having to figure out what every feature is about and why it was designed that each and every time he returns to the original wireframe. Another example of annotations and cognitive tracing can often be seen in the design of education portals that inform students of completed phases of their course or study of documents previously viewed or downloaded. The takeaways. When you design with external cognition in mind, you will create truly user-centered products that support your users' mental capacity throughout various user flows of your product. External cognition can be an extremely useful method of reducing the strain on users' limited memory and cognitive resources. With this, we come to an end to this episode of All Things Lean. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section on what you would like to hear more. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead.